Traditionally, a teacher's job has been to know the standards and curriculum, decide on the pace, prepare lessons, and teach these to the students in his or her classroom. The student's job was to learn the material in the way it was presented by the teacher. In a personalized learning environment, there's a fundamental shift to this relationship. Learner and teacher are repositioned, and their relationship becomes interdependent. They now work together to ensure the standards are met, and curriculum is learned in a way that aligns with and supports the unique needs and strengths of each individual.
Once you personalize learning, it really changes the relationships and roles for a teacher. The relationship really becomes, I'm more of a mentor, I'm guiding the student's learning. So not only am I working with that student more individually, we're conferencing, we're setting goals, but now I'm able to work with the parent, and the student is kind of showing the ownership of their learning and communicating with the parent as well. So it's a triangulation of really keeping everybody in the know. It's also changed my relationships with different teachers. So we are now having conversations about, what are you doing in this class for a kid that really needs this, versus in my class today, this is what I'm teaching all of my kids. So it's really gotten our different instructional practice a little bit deeper in how we're actually working to meet the needs of the students. It's also changed the roles in the building because everybody is really becoming to make just a transformational shift in really seeing the need for personalization. Everybody's taking on more of a leadership role. They're really seeing the reasons why, and everybody really, really wants to be doing the things that are best for kids.
This is our first year co-teaching together, and there's definitely a lot that goes into it. I have co-taught with different teachers every year, and just personally reflecting, I remember in my very first year leaving the room at the end of the year and thinking to myself, I couldn't name every single student that was in that classroom. And I could name all my special ed kids, but there were a handful of students that I didn't know their name in that room. So in reflecting upon my practice and working with Miss Pinzel, I told her, I said, first and foremost, my number one goal is that I can work with all students in this classroom. I have that goal for her, that she's going to be working with the special education students, so she should have that goal for me, that I'm going to be working with all gen ed students. And not only is that beneficial for the special education students, but it's beneficial for the general ed population in there as well.
How we've operated as a school has shifted pretty tremendously from really being more traditionally focused to evolving where we're really personalizing how we operate for students, but also for each other as colleagues and as educators. When I first started here a long time ago, we really got to a point where administration had to move some staff forwards at certain times, and now we've really shifted where it's more about managing ideas and managing innovation that's really growing organically in different areas of the building.
One of the changes in roles and relationships has been the advent of coaching in the building. I'm one of the instructional coaches in the building, and I work with staff members who are really looking for a way to get better, and they're not really sure how to get better. And I don't always know how to get better, but there's a lot of collaboration between us so that I can go into a classroom and say, what do you want to do? What do you want it to look like? In a lot of ways, it's just like meeting with a student on goals. Where do they want to take their learning? Where does a staff member want to take their professional development?
As a teacher then, my job really shifts into being more of a facilitator of instruction. So the students are able to come up and talk to me, and my role is not so much the person who knows all the answers, but instead it's the person who facilitates, the person who asks probing questions, where I'm not the guy who knows all the answers, but I'm the intellectual mentor to provide the support needed academically and then also behaviorally.
Through personalization, we've been able to develop closer relationships with our students. We meet them where they're at and hopefully get them engaged to be challenging themselves in whatever direction they would like to go within our classes.